friends! This video was created for the Project for Awesome in support of the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance. No matter where you're from, what language you speak, or the color of your skin, I think most of us want to live in safe communities where our voices are heard and we feel like we belong. When I was a little kid, I remember going to the park almost every day. For a long time, my favorite thing to do at the park was to join in on whatever game of tag was currently happening on the playground. There was always one. When we were little, my brother had a pretty severe speech impediment, and one day the other kids decided they didn't want to play with us anymore because they thought my brother was speaking Chinese. I think I tried to explain to these kids that we weren't Chinese and my mom is actually from Thailand, but I don't think giving them a geography lesson really helped with the fact that I felt lonely and left out because those kids had decided we were too different to play with them. I don't think it will surprise anyone to hear this, but the last few years have been bad. We have all been dealing with the challenges of the pandemic. We've all tried to keep our loved ones safe and healthy in rapidly changing and unfamiliar circumstances. It's been difficult to navigate the pandemic, to try to keep my family safe from a microscopic virus, while also trying to keep my family safe from the growing threat of anti-Asian racism. In 2020, there was a 124% increase in anti-Asian hate crimes. In 2021, there was a 339% increase in anti-Asian hate crimes. For myself, my family, and my community, these aren't new problems. We've been dealing with harassment, racism, and violence for ages. But they have become more frequent, more violent, and more visible. In response to this, a little over a year ago, I started working with the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance because I know that these problems aren't new, and deep in my bones, I know that these problems aren't going to go away unless we get the power to fix them ourselves. I believe we are living through one of the most significant moments in history where a global pandemic has revealed structural inequities in a way that is so obvious it will be near impossible to hide them again. But also, due in large part to the Black Lives Matter movement, so many people have reimagined what is even possible for our communities, what a world centered on justice and equality could look like, and how we can get there. The Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance has been a home for me in a way. A place where I can return to in order to do my long-term work of building community, of fighting for our people to get everything we need to survive and thrive. It is, as one could say, feeding my soul to do the specific work of fighting for my community, of coordinating the work to hold our elected officials accountable, to engage in culturally competent organizing, to engage in linguistically accessible organizing, even as I personally provide none of that language access. And to build solidarity, not just among API communities, but with other communities of color too, because our freedom and liberation is connected. I think doing this long-term work to build power is important. I think the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance has done really important work. In 2020, they broke records with the largest ever Asian American voter contact program in US history, which doubled the vote share of Asian Americans in Pennsylvania. In 2021, they were able to fund year-round community organizing to do the important work of building community and training leaders. I want to do big things with them this year, and for several more years after this, to ensure my communities always have the power we need to build safe communities and have a voice in our government. I don't want my communities to be forgotten once we aren't in the news every day for terrible things happening to us. Every year, the Project for Awesome gives out grants to organizations voted on by our online community. If you want to support the work the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance does, you can vote for them to win a grant. Voting begins on February 25th, 2022 at noon Eastern and will only be open for 48 hours. I'll be tweeting out reminders to vote pretty regularly once voting begins, but maybe also just set a reminder on your phone to vote. If you have the money, you can donate to the Project for Awesome Fund that will get split up among the winning charities, or support the Asian Pacific Islander Political Alliance directly by donating using the link in the description. Thanks in advance for your support, and happy Project for Awesome, everyone. And hey, I love you.